Hi everyone. Today I want to talk to you about betrayal, and especially betrayal in business. It goes back many years now, back to 2012, and that was in the midst of a very successful, what I thought was a very successful real estate investment consulting business. And I was introducing Australian investors to a real estate market in America that had gone through a lot of distress. So there were, it was sort of the years that was preceding GFC, when there was a lot of markets available and a lot of properties available as well, especially foreclosed properties. And for me to be able to provide that service to Australians, I required somebody that was on the ground in these particular areas. And in one particular area, it was Northeast Ohio. And what I called that person was a field partner, a partner or a person that wasn't in a legal partnerships as such. However, he was a trusted advisor, someone that I would depend upon to provide me information, to provide me and source me properties that would then be sold through a system, through a structured system that I was providing to Australians. And it worked really well. It was working considerably well in the first few years. And I was on the ground here in Australia. I was a little bit like the marketing piece of the whole organisation, the whole structure, and he was the provider, the supplier of the houses. I would make sure that the client was going through all the right steps, all the right processes, making sure that they were making all the right decisions around asset protection and tax planning, and just making sure that they were introduced to the right team members that could do all the right things and educate them along the way as well. So they were very educated investors, Australians that were investing in a US market. So it was working extremely well. I had one particular client that came through the process and bought 14 properties, investment properties through me or through the system. And I provided so much data, a lot of information, a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of intellectual property. There was a lot that was being provided to her with respect to the purchasing of those properties. And then all of a sudden it went very, very quiet for a lot of months. And it was really unusual considering she'd bought 14 properties. You could imagine when somebody like that goes very, very quiet, you start to think to yourself, well, that's very strange. Why that? Why is that all happening? Then the next thing I found was a website that popped up in my inbox. It was an email and then a website that I went to go and click through to. And lo and behold, it was this client that actually set up a business in competition with my own. And what she had done, which I found out, is she had partnered up, she had approached or went behind my back or went behind me, and they set up a partnership. So the field partner and the client went into business together to actually do the same, exactly the same thing as I was doing. And I think it might have been possibly him looking for greener pastures. I know that she had quite a big long list of potential clients that she could promote to and advertise to. I think she saw a system or a structure that I put into place that she thought was very attractive, and she decided to use all of my intellectual property, my data, my field partner, the areas, everything, to just set up a duplicate business in competition to me. So you can imagine the conflict that created. It was firstly a huge challenge, and then the conflict that followed or pursued after that was devastating, because I mean, when I saw that, I was completely devastated as to what had happened. It created quite a sadness and upset and anger. A lot of anger was going on with respect to betrayal. How could they do that to me? You know, it felt like the business was falling apart. First of all, I had a client that had gone behind my back and betrayed me and gone and set up a competition business, but also a field partner that left me to go off and run off with a client, which was really just a horrible betrayal, and I felt grief and loss and heartache, and all of these years that I had spent researching and building up this business, all to, I felt, fall apart within, a few days. It was just devastating. So eventually what I did do, and it took a few months for me to work that out, is that I could actually run and do the business on my own. The most important part to that business was the marketing, was the front end marketing piece, and having the supply of houses. And what happened was, one of the property managers that was on the ground there actually approached me directly and said to me, "That's fine, I can provide you houses. I can provide you everything that you need for the Australians to move forward and for you to continue your business." What a relief that was. It was like, wow, what happened was, as a result of that, my productivity increased exponentially, my profit increased exponentially, and the control that I had over the business was incredible, because all of a sudden now there was that field partner that was out of the picture, and I had so much more control over the vision and the mission, the values and the direction of the company. So it made such a difference for that field partner to actually leave the business. And I think my learning out of all of that, and I think for anyone that's in any sort of similar situation, is that when you feel like it's falling apart, everything is actually falling into place. And I think it's a really good message for any future business owner that feels like there's a betrayal, or it can even be in a friendship situation where you feel like everything now is falling apart, everything that you've built, everything that you've developed, everything that you'd worked towards. You feel like it's falling apart due to a challenge that's come up, and then following that a conflict arises. And, you go through so much physical and emotional turmoil. You think it's all falling apart, and yet what you do discover in the months, after that, is that everything is actually falling into place. And my business was such a better business as a result of all of that controversy and conflict and challenge. And I think that, that's just something to remember and something to hold on to, because that's not the only challenge that I had when building a business. My international real estate investment business, and also my online digital business that I'm building currently, the challenges come, and it's just a matter of reminding yourself that when you think it's falling apart, it's actually falling into place. That's my message, that's my share today. That's Trish, leadyourlifestyle.com, over and out here, New South Wales, Australia. Bye everyone.